will I procrastinate here and rest just next to me board. And next to this little... Ow! Ow! That stuck right in my back. Next to this little brush that I found. I might take that with me. Maybe I won't. I choose me brushes with pride. Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm procrastinating and I'm waiting for my heart to chill out. I reckon 7 scoops of instant coffee this morning was too many. So yeah, I'm gonna chill out, drink some water, and then start paddling. That's it, paddling. Are there some issues with having a fatherless, childless, suicidal carpenter as your sole guide for life? I'd say yes. I'd say something has more than likely been lost in translation between the calendar in the sky and the story, albeit I will 100% say that it is that story and it is that example that I have followed to get to here. That's a conundrum as well, isn't it? Because some people would be like, well, he's right on track, look at him go. And some people would be like, he is a lunatic, don't listen. And this is the case. I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, and what I'm doing is very personal. I just thought I'd document it and share it. I have been inspired by that story, and I found that example to be a bridge too far. Unlike that bridge that I'm hoping to get to today, it's a bridge too far, and it's meant to be a bridge too far. That's the point of it. Like the Southern Cross. If you keep trying to get to that Southern Cross, you're going to end up in fucking Middle Earth, or that fucking gigantic ice wall, or that place Antarctica with all the fucking penguins. And although I'd say it's cold here, it's way colder there. And then you'll be there really by yourself, freezing cold, and you still won't get to it. Do you see what I mean? We're not meant to get to it. Even if you follow the general thing, the general, Christian concept, we're not meant to get it. It's like, it's the same as the rainbow, the original rainbow, and the pot of gold that you can't get to. Not the fucking rainbow that we all got to, or were forced to get to, and if you didn't get to it, watch out. But yeah, a childless, fatherless man, no matter what his trade certificate says, hasn't lived yet. And that's why he found his father in God. Jesus is the ladder to get to God, I think. That's how I think of it. Because he's a man, like you, or a woman. Again, that's where the rainbow got us. But he's the ladder, because he's a carpenter, and ladders used to be made out of wood traditionally. And so that's the point. He made the ladder. He is the ladder. But you'll never get there, because he fucking didn't finish it, because they killed him. And that's good. That's the whole point of the story. We're not meant to be gods, yeah? And if there's too many gods and there's too many ladders and then you need too many Jesuses and there's too many dead fucking carpenters without ever having children, and then we're fucked as well. So one's quite enough. If you don't have one, then there's nothing for the ladder to stand on. And then Jesus wouldn't have had a job. So you can see that all things can be looked at 1,000 different ways. And the way that you present your opinion of what you think tells me a whole lot more about you than it does about whatever fictitious man, beast, unicorn riding, rainbow vomiting, banshee that you may exist lives in another realm. So who would my God be? Based on my following the example of Christ, not trying to be Christ, just following the example, except burdened with the unbelievable weight of having children of my own, which in some ways makes me think that Jesus got out a little bit fucking easy. And I think that's a story that perhaps needs to be explored. And his mum, let's just say I think his mum got off pretty well, considering she basically stood behind him and kept poking him into the fucking... Anyway. I don't think it's the specifics. I think if we think of the Christian story as the ultimate sacrifice that you can never do, as the ladder to God that you'll never get to the end of, and that's enough for me. That doesn't make me any type of Christian, really. But I will wholeheartedly say and swear to God that if it wasn't for that character, Jesus Christ, I'd probably be a lot worse off. I'd probably be nowhere near the fucking ladder. I'd be sliding that slippery snake all the way down to the fucking depths of hell, which is just over there in that pokey room. But I wouldn't be there. I wasn't a big fan of pokies. I'd be maybe actually hanging around the pokies looking for the sad... Anyway, let's not get into where I'd be. But yeah, if my example of God, if I'm following my example of what God is, God's just a chilled out fucking dude that plays guitar and sits on a fucking hill. Likes a bit of water sports and would maybe just appreciate the noise and the fucking sinful behaviour just to lower down a little bit so that his children aren't continuously killed. That's what I reckon my God would be saying. But I've got a feeling he's got a couple of squeezes, couple of little places, and he's almost about fucking done with this place. And something, a bit like, because I've seen this with my dad. My dad was done with here when he died. This is a good way to go. He'd had enough of the place. And so I guess I had to look pretty hard to find out a reason to give to my God or to my Father of why it's worth sticking it out, you know? And that, if I can push out in that, and there's always another little beach to land on, like this beautiful one here that I've called home for the last 2 weeks. And if you haven't tried sleeping on rocks like this, give it a go. It's way more comfortable than you think. Don't pay for a chiropractor. Just sleep on a fucking beach covered in massive boulders. But yeah, if I can push off there and leave this coast behind, and if I can shrink that down and remember that this, like that beach over there, a long time ago, that would have been completely different people, and that would have been a completely different people, and that would have been a completely different people, and that's how we are still wired. And so this world's gotten a whole lot smaller, and I'm hoping to make it a whole lot bigger again. Somehow. Because it's not about how quick you get there. Ask any woman, and this is, it's served me pretty well in making sure my little dog bowl is always filled up. There's always water or milk left out for me as I tap and purr on the but it's not about what you arrive on. It's not about how quickly you arrive there. It's about what you've seen on the way. And the quicker you go, the less you see. And that's got to be about just the biggest secret there is, I think, to attempting to have a happy life. Now, in these wartime bullshit conditions, there's no way that anyone can have a happy life. And you might think, oh, we're not at war. Yes, we are. We're at war. We've been at war for a very, very long time. It's a complicated war. It's an ideological war. It's basically a war between God, chilled out dude that sits on a hill, plays guitar and likes a bit of water sports, and no God, which is basically some absolute scum of the earth coming and capping that guy in the back of the head, and then having a cocaine-fueled fucking heroin murder party where they clubbed seals to death and fucking, I don't know, set fire to his paddleboard. So you all decide for yourselves, you know? But I'll be doing something like this, something more or less like this, until I can't do this, and then I'll probably just fucking help people do this and stop people trying to fucking shoot them in the back of the head. God, I talk a lot of shit, don't I? Well, as I said, I either talk this much shit, which I think is an achievement. This is hours and hours, like not even hours, like thousands of hours. It's every day, full time, every day for a long fucking time. In order to not, do you know how quickly? Ready? I'm going to show you how quickly I could have fucking ended this. Done. And that would have relieved, that's it, like, ready? I would have been like, hey, how dare you? Dead. And so peace is not simple. Peace is more complicated. Killing and violence, easy. Getting away with it, a little bit harder. And, you know what I mean, and you basically won't have a normal life again. And I appreciate a normal, as I said, chilled out dude sitting on a hill playing guitar, likes a bit of water sports. I don't want to be an international fucking fugitive on the run, running away from dual murder, although maybe justified, not legal. So I've got to talk a lot of shit until it's admitted that what was done was wrong. This is what court is. I don't know what a lot of you think court is, what laws are or anything is. This is what it is. This is why it's so expensive to go to court, because you've got to pay someone like me, which if I had to do it now, yeah, you'd have to pay me a lot. Like, what do lawyers make an hour? And I said thousands of hours. So how much does this cost me in legal costs? Yeah? And I'm going to win. Because no one, like, I could have just let water go under the bridge, but I don't want to let water go under the bridge, because then the bridge gets fucking bigger and bigger and bigger, and then everyone's fucking jumping over that bridge, fucking stealing children all over the fucking place, aren't they? So I damned that fucking thing and said, no, get fucked. Rock by rock by rock, I built a fucking wall. And it's there. It exists. And I can point to it. And everyone would go, why did you do that? I'd say, because my reputation to my children is fucking the most important thing that I have. This is the message of the Christian religion. My reputation to my children is the most important thing that I have. It's the most valuable possession that I have. Secondly is my reputation to everyone else, which you've also fucked with. So I built a dam. A gigantic, digital, fucking audio-visual dam that exists. And don't ever, ever, ever for a second think that it doesn't. And the most annoying thing is this is my point. I built that dam with the energy that I would have done to build my business, that my children also owned, that your wife also owned. And so that just shows the absolute stupidity of it. What a waste of fucking time. Hopefully, my dam is useful to anyone else that's put in the same circumstance. It's called a precedent. So it should apply to anyone else, anyone who hopes to do it. They can say, I call up the wise gate. I'm going to use the wise gate. Instantly, that shortcuts thousands and thousands of hours of my personal legal costs. And I'm giving that to those individuals to use. If they use it wrongly, I'll come and fucking sort them out legally myself. But if they use it in the right way, and the opposing lawyer or the opposing dickhead that's trying to fucking pull this shit says, oh shit, I don't want to fucking deal with that, then that's what it's there for. It's a shield, which is kind of what a dam is. But it's digital. Anyway, I've just about fucking chilled out enough to fucking go paddleboarding. And now look at this. Now I've got to deal with this rough water. The water was dead smooth this morning, but I had to go stick a couple of rocks in the dam. So now I'm going to get wet. I'm not going to fucking jump on the easy double entendre there and make a joke about it either. So never mind. If life's getting you down, go and buy one of these and give it a go. And if you still want to kill yourself, try and jump. You can practice jumping off this, and build up gradually until you're ready for the big leap. But I'd not recommend it. There's a documentary called The Bridge. Oh, look at this water splashing. Fucking, oh God. Poseidon's fucking giving me a show. There's this documentary called The Bridge. It's about the Golden Gate Bridge where people jump off all the time. There's a few people on that have done it and they survived. And they said the second they jumped off that bridge, they regretted it. Whoever made that documentary, probably, maybe not, but it's probably saved my life. And so yeah, I'm, what's it called? Passing it on. What's the word? How do they say that? I'm adding to that little piece of content to keep a few dads on earth. Because yeah, they're pretty important. After all, it was Jesus' dad that made him kill himself. I'm not trying to be fucking blasphemous. That's not blasphemy. It technically is. But he didn't kill himself. They killed him. And I think it's the fear now. See, there wasn't a Jesus, now there is. So if you do it, they kind of go, well, fuck, we're going to fucking Jesus this guy. We better just fucking maybe bend a little bit to what he was saying. That's the point. That's what he did. Even though he's just a fucking constellation in the sky of someone who probably paddleboarded up from fucking Tasmania all those years ago and went into Rome and said, oi, cunts, cut it out. You know? Anyway, catches. Alright, I'm going to try and explain the thing that I love the most about sailing as we look at this sailboat here. I was getting a little bit stressed because I said I was going to go upriver today. And I don't know, my blood pressure, something's off. I don't feel fantastic. But I have pushed through things quite a lot. And then I got a little thought in my head and I said, well, it's Sunday. It's a day of rest. Now, I've done a little bit of stuff this morning, but you know, we can't all be perfect. And as I was thinking this, a little gust of wind blew all these leaves in the air, and the wind changed, and the wind is more than likely picking up. I haven't checked the forecast because I was going to be hugging the shoreline. It was, you know, should have been fine, and probably still would be. But it's those little cues, see that? That's ruffling. Down there's a boat in the distance, and I can see that it sails down and tied up, but it was ruffling more than it looks here, and it's blowing out towards the bay. And so there's always tomorrow, and I guess I'll take it easy because everything I'm doing is self-driven. I don't have anyone to tell me to stop except myself, and that's why I've done so much, because I'm the hardest boss that I've ever had. If I did to employees what I do to myself, I'd be in jail. Or we might get a repeat.
There's leaves falling all around me, you seen that? The fall. One just fell on my head. Subtlety. The most significant messages I've ever got in my life are so dreadfully subtle. If you weren't paying attention, you would almost definitely miss them and end up potentially blown out into Antarctica. So that's, if you need a reason to have at least some concept of someone greater, a God, then that's it. Because when it comes to survival and, these things, you either have someone who potentially has you back when you're all alone, or you don't. And if you haven't ever been all alone and faced with that reality, then who are you to criticize anyone who has, and to make any claims about what they perceive the world as? Because in my determination, if you haven't ever been in that situation, you're still an infant. And you may as well be in your mother's womb.
Just heard a funny thing. They said to be a Muslim, it's very simple. There is only one God, that's Allah. That's a name difference, that's acceptable with different languages, different cultures, these things. And that's his prophet is Muhammad. Now, the Protestant Christian is that there is God. Oh, sorry. His prophet is Muhammad, and he cannot be criticized. Right? It's perfectly within the Protestant framework that there is God, there is Christ, Jesus Christ, and he can be criticized, was criticized, was killed. Without criticism, we don't move. Without being able to criticize Muhammad, that places him above Allah. Because criticism is, in its essence, moving away from a negative input or a negative situation or negative construct, which is the base of survival. So by its nature, to have a prophet that can't be criticised is death, because we're in an ever-changing reality, ever-changing environment. Almost every aspect of our lives in 2025 is completely different to what it was during the life of Muhammad. Probably, I'll say 100% definitely an amazing figure historically. One that should be held up extremely high. But this seems to be the moment in which a Muslim reformation would emerge. The only way that can emerge is if there is the slightest opening towards criticism of Muhammad. And this is where I get to, if he was a great leader, a great general, all these things, there's no way anyone would ever get to that without accepting criticism, even of themselves, as part of their strategy. If you put yourself in the shoes of Muhammad and you want to take over the West, and want to restore this thing, well, do it now. And if you don't do it fucking now, in the next week, then you are not Muhammad. You're not following his lead. Because without criticism, that means storming into every single place all at once. Now do it. Come on. Get a fucking move on. Hurry up. We're sick of fucking waiting. But you don't. You receive criticism by responding to our defences of your ridiculousness. And so you're not acting as Muhammad, which if you are not acting as he would, then you are bringing criticism to his word, and you are scourging your people with a sub-religion that doesn't make sense. Get and fucking do it. You've got a week. Hurry up. One of yous. Come on. Your path is the right path. Then walk plainly into it. Walk straight into it. Walk up to Donald Trump and fucking kill him. Hurry the fuck up. Or surrender your one consideration that he is not to be criticised. Did he make criticisms? Was he successful based on his criticisms of other strategies, of other systems, of pagan religions? Yes. So criticism was accepted within his own strategy. So no leader, no matter how divinely placed here, including our own, is beyond criticism. There is one figure that we share that is beyond criticism, isn't there? And really, all we're fucking talking about is a couple of lights in the sky that used to tell us how to get around the place, like the Google Maps. But now we have Google Maps. It's far simpler than plotting fucking orbs in the sky. I'm sure you will find this. That's a criticism of Allah. Allah would have, of Muhammad would have fucking navigated with celestial navigation. If you're not doing that, you're not acting as the fucking prophet did. You're living sinfully. But no successful leader in this period would even attempt to do anything near what Muhammad did without Google Maps. So many things to do with devout, well, the Muslim religion, but devout Islam, especially the drinking thing. I'm not super crazy about drinking. It's stolen a lot from me. But I guess I don't want to micromanage it. There's certain things about other things I don't want to micromanage because I have faith in ... That's one word. How many other words do we have that are different? Almost all of them. Yeah, so one word. Allah or God. Same fucking thing. We've been through this already. The reason I am able to talk to you is because we've been through it already. We stole so much from you. And we're 100% responsible for the position that you're in now. And your anger towards those historic wrongs is justified. But all we really have to offer, if you want to take from us, if you want to steal from us our land, our women, people, you will find that piece of information hidden within all of our texts. The ability to criticize our prophet is the only thing that's worth anything when you're living in the ruins that will be created if this conflict continues. So yeah, my God has told me that you have a week. It's called Hell Week. Bring it on. One of you, bring it on. Whoever's called to walk plainly in and do as your prophet says, you have a week. Otherwise, we're sick of fucking waiting around. Surely you can see all the things that may anger or must anger God or Allah that are going on all around us. So get a fucking move on. Hurry the fuck up. We're sick of waiting. Tick tock.
As you can see, they pester and pester and pester them. No reason. I think it's jealousy. They want to know, see? They want to know what's under there, and they can't. They'll never know. So they plunge their heads under, trying to steal the knowledge, but they'll never get it. Never. Like these folk. I don't hate motorboats because of the environment, because of the noise, because of the wastefulness. I don't actually even hate them. They have a place, they're pretty fun. But that in the long run will never work. And how much do you lose to get there faster? I guess we're about to answer that once and for all. As the last of the seagulls retreat, defeated. And as we see here, the triple threat lies on. Hello, mate. Well done. Well done. You beautiful thing. The victor. Oh, a new dimension. You look at these two here. I don't know what they are. Whether they're babies or these ones. They do go underwater like these ones. Guys, this is why everyone fucking hates you. Yeah? This is why you have a bad name. Because of this behaviour. And that's not going to get you anywhere, is it? I think we can ask everyone in the world, so if they had a gun and they had to shoot one, which one are they going to shoot? They're going to shoot these annoying fucking cunts here that just keep trying to fucking pester everyone for no reason. Maybe their prophet told them to do it. I don't know. So, just listening to a lecture as well about the Byzantine Empire, which Jordan Shanks will like because he did a whole show on it. I'm not very good with remembering the words. I think it's a monasticism. And anyway, there's like a Trinity, Father, the Holy Spirit, and the Son, I think. And then there's like, anyway, it's basically how human was Jesus versus how divine was he. Now this is the craziest bit about the Southern Cross, because according to all knowledge, historic knowledge, we didn't know about the Southern Hemisphere really, so no one knew about the Southern Cross except, and even Aboriginal people. We can't use their knowledge because they didn't write it down. Doesn't mean that it's not significant. They obviously have on the ground knowledge, but they weren't operating, they were operating celestially, but there's no way for us to prove that that Southern Cross was even there. Really, I don't think, unless there is, I don't think there is. And so this is the craziest bit. And this is where, according to a lot of, like this argument's been going on for ages. Similar to like the argument between all the other shit. Like we've had our own arguments for a long time. So we, like the Lion King, did not, and it's up there. So now because I'm sitting on a landmark and I'm pointing there, at least now we know, as long as we keep this data, that right down here at the bottom of Australia, I've made this point publicly I will conceive that there's no way for me to know whether that was there before Jesus. And unless someone can prove me wrong, I don't think there's any way to know whether we can ever know that. So I haven't really done much. But what I've done is I've incorporated a celestial constellation that all atheists agree is there because you can see it. And I've found some happy medium ground. They will say that that's been there for the whole time. And the Christians will, I'm sure, say that it was placed there after his death. So for me personally, it's perfectly fine with both. I'm perfectly fine with both. Because 2,000 years later, it can only be described as a story. And the story's been important to me. Unless, of course, we pull up some person that's been mummified or something like that, that has a big Southern Cross tattoo on them that's like 10,000 years old. But we haven't done that. And why am I talking about all this? This is where we live. To say that it's stupid is actually the most absurd thing because, well, okay, so millions and millions of people all around the world have fought and died and conquered places and built churches, built everything and studied science, studied the reality of Earth, and then you're standing right at the top of that pile and saying they're all stupid. And that's where I guess I have to hand in my atheist card and basically walk out of the room. Because no, there's no way. You can't. How do we know the Southern Hemisphere wasn't created after Jesus' death? We don't. How do we know that someone didn't float up in Tasmania with a big mouth and talk to all the world leaders? We don't. But just by the very fact that I'm doing that right now means that it's an option, isn't it? It definitely was an option. There's a guy, if you watch a documentary called Kentucky, it's about this bloke, Bjorn. Oh, I'm so bad with names. Lonsfeld. Bjorn. He's Norwegian guy, I think, and he sailed a raft from somewhere to somewhere to prove that the Polynesians could have done it. Now, if I sail out that river and head left, pretty hard left, there's a good chance I'm going to whack into New Zealand, which is where the Polynesians came from. If I miss New Zealand, there's a really good chance I'm going to land in South America. Really, really good chance. So like Argentina. Pretty hard left and I'd end up in North America, but that's unlikely. But I reckon if there was someone down here, and this it would have been the most beautiful place, peaceful place, like ever, who wouldn't shut up. I reckon there's a pretty good chance that they stuck him on a raft and flung him out the river mouth. Because that's what you've all done to me as well, metaphorically this time. And I reckon that's maybe why I didn't leave earlier, because I almost might have got drifted out there. If you fling out there with no radar and no one knows where you've gone, the right wind catches you, you're on the biggest, longest fucking roller coaster you're ever going to be on. Now, I'm not saying that all of them made it, but I reckon there's a chance that one of them made it. Maybe I should just stick my phone with all these recordings, stick it in my, I don't know, wrap it up in a plastic bag, make some kind of wind-catching, very simple thing, and push my paddleboard out the mouth of the Derwent. See where it ends up. It's going to be pushed pretty quick. My guess is it's going to end up in Argentina. But if it slips through that gap, somehow gets sucked up to Africa, into that big bay there, and when you walk north, then you're right about where you'd be. Now the crazy thing about Argentina is that, well, not Argentina, South America, there's a huge history there of these kind of things. They did a lot of fucked up shit. And I'm guessing in Argentina, South America, they flung a lot of people into that current as well. But if you threaded the needle, if you went through that gap in Argentina, and now maybe, because this used to be connected, Argentina and Antarctica. So you just hit ice, maybe go north, join the Mayans or something like that. If you get really north, I don't know, join them. It's pretty wild country through there. There's a lot of tigers and stuff. I think. Maybe there isn't. Does the Amazon have tigers? Jaguars and leopards? But can we see if 2,000 years ago, if that's when potentially that opening opened up, and so somebody got through. I mean, how many $billion question is that? Really? I might not do it with this phone, because I think this phone's pretty amazing that I've actually been able to use it, because half of it doesn't work and it's fucking glitchy as fuck, and the whole thing's basically about to die. I really like my paddleboard, but I wonder, is it worth the old message in a bottle? Is that why I didn't go to Lindisfarne and fucking raid that monastery? Is it because I'm meant to send a book out the Derwent and into the Southern Ocean? I'd say yes. I'd say yes, it 100% is. We have Instagram. All I need to write is Instagram Shanks_333. Surely everyone, you know? It'd be a good ad for this aqua, whatever they're called, aqua something or other. And I know it's like, if someone says it's littering, it's like, get fucked. There's bodies littering the fucking Middle East right now because of an argument that goes back fucking way back. One paddleboard in the Southern Ocean. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. How the fuck am I gonna... Jesus Christ. The other factor here as well is that we've got Huon pine. Now, Huon pine floats really well. Really well. So a Huon pine raft flung out that river you'd pretty much guarantee that's going to fucking smash into something. And like I said, I've proven here that a population will do weird shit. Like it will just pretend you don't exist. It's like, there's a scene in that movie, The Beach, where the guy keeps whinging because he gets bitten by a shark. This is different because I've got, like, what I'm whinging about is actually what, like, all wars throughout history have ever been about. You steal someone's children. I mean, basically that's the whole thing about Tasmanians. I think this is a Tasmanian revenge, and I reckon I might have a bit of that Tasmanian blood in me. And if I left here in pristine condition and I ended up in fucking Rome, talking about a fucking big cross in the sky 2,000 years ago. And then some carpenter just fucking nicked me story. A bit like Harrison Ford, he was a carpenter. He's been made world famous by nicking a story as well. Not him directly, obviously that Spielberg character, that Lucas. Oh, was Spielberg? No, Lucas. Ripped off quite a lot of the Bible. But that's what we always, Chinese whispers. Oh, sorry, I'm about to say that, but yes. Alright, well, I got a fucking message in a bottle message on a paddleboard in a bottle to organise, so I better fucking send this to Sting and get the police back together, and then we can fucking test this out. It's going to be a real shame if it pops, but at least the bottle, I can guarantee the bottle's going to fucking make it. Because plastics, really good. Maybe I could stick 100 bottles with 100 messages all on the paddleboard, all in a big bag, tie it all up so that worst comes to worst. Yeah, I'll do that. That's 100. Maybe just 5, because it can't be fucked finding 100 bottles. 5. That's 500 times more likely, given the case of swordfish or something like that spikes me paddleboard. And the funniest thing is if they find this, I should probably make this the last post, so this would be what they find. They're like, oh my god, we found this fucking thing, he's talking about shit, and then we found this message in a bottle. It seems like a lot of trouble because I've already technically done it, but I think it's interesting to do it the old-fashioned way as well. What if it was just in a writing? They just drew the picture and wrote like little scribbles in a bottle or on a bit of hewn pine. Jesus found it because he liked wood. Hewn pine's the best wood. He found this beautiful table, became a famous carpenter because he made amazing tables out of this massive log that he kept secret, that he found somewhere washed up on fucking Bethlehem, and then started talking about this fucking... I reckon I'm onto a winner there. Hollywood, here I come. Yeah, I reckon it's all this science or all this fucking religious study or all this diplomacy or whatever, or maybe it's just the seagulls fucking pestering those seabirds down there. But I got a hankering for some hot chips, so because the weather is definitely set in, tomorrow I'll be heading south again to launch the satellite, which is what it is. It's a fucking satellite. It's not a paddleboard. It's a fucking religious, fucking holy satellite. And I'm allowed to do that because my mum worked for NASA, and NASA's cleared it. They're going to keep an eye on it for me, I reckon. Maybe. If they get a fucking move on, you could get me one of those little fucking GPS majiggers. Whack that on there as well. You guys love whacking fucking GPS on shit and doing a whole bunch of weird things. About time you did something that actually just fucking, you know what I mean? Did something down here on terra firma. Terra Tasmanius. Formerly, it's not Terra Australis because it's Terra Van Demon Tasmanius Devilus Shish Kebab. No, it's not. The satellite to save Sputnik can go and get fucked because this satellite is actually going to do something good. So far, the only satellites, Tesla, Elon Musk, SpaceX, and that, well, it's mainly just good for fucking watching a never-ending line of teenage girls basically get raped on a fucking couch while the perverted fucking boomers, I don't know, wait for death. This satellite, on the other hand, I reckon NASA's going to want to get on board this one, maybe even get Buzz Aldrin. He can check the time with one of his 7,000 wristwatches, and should be in Rome, I don't know. It'll arrive when it arrives. Got to get the timing just right.
feel out the current. Give it a little nudge. It's seconds. Seconds are going to be crucial here when we push this. What could we call it? It's got to be called something good. I'll ponder on that as I walk down my bag to get some fucking hot shit from the fucking restaurant casino and use the Wi-Fi to upload me plan, just in case anything happens to me. In the meantime, my wishes are that my ashes are placed on the paddleboard with the thing and then done the same. I wouldn't put my dad's ashes on there because he didn't want to do that. He almost did it as a kid. That's what gave me the idea. I reckon now would be good to do it, but it's too dodgy. I get that wind though, that southerly wind. No, not so northerly. Right.